What's going on, guys? Coach Joe here at the Lion's Den, and today I'm going to take you through day one where you can train like me. So in this video, we're going to cover some deadlifting tips, some overhead pressing tips, a little bit of close grip benching tips, and then I'm going to give you guys a conditioning workout at the end that you are more than welcome to try in your own training. So let's get in onto it. It's hot! What's up, guys? So if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys head on down and click subscribe and hit the bell for the notifications so you guys can stay up to date with all these videos. But like I said, I'm going to take you guys through this training day, which is my first training day of 4. I'm going to give you guys the in and outs of my training, and then at the end of all this, I want to give you guys my sample programming block for you to try with your training. So we're going to dive right on into the training content now, so let's go.
Alright guys, so let's cover this training footage. Now, typically when I warm up, I try to keep it as fast as possible. So I start with an empty barbell. I'll do a ton of reps with the empty barbell and I'll slowly work up in weight. And the rest I want to give myself in warm-ups is just the time it takes me to get the plates. So this is me with 135, greasing the groove, and I'll work all the way up to a heavy triple today with no straps allowed. Because I was contemplating doing the official strongman games, which is in November, and you have to do an online qualifier. And one of the qualification lifts is a 3-rep max deadlift, and you can use whatever bar you want, but you just can't wear straps. Now, my grip is not the greatest, and I have been using straps for a long time because most strongman events, and even the one in official strongman games, the actual competition, you will be allowed to wear straps, but I guess they're trying to wean some people out. So this is a 405, and I think I hit this for a set of 5, and then after that I work 2 triples, and I hit about 1 single, and then I go right to my top set, which ends up being 635, which I was happy with. I almost lost it at the top, which you guys will see in the video with just my grip going, but if I had straps it probably could actually went a lot higher. So this is 545, and this is 585 just for a quick single, just kind of gauging it, and I hopped right up to the 635. Now the deadlift bar typically is going to have more whip, so you're going to see the bar bend more before it actually breaks off of the floor. It's personal preference if you like to use a deadlift bar or a stiff bar or whatever federation you compete in. But that's the 635. That's what I end up using for my submission video for the online qualifier. And I go for this last rep, and you can see my hand starting to slip. And luckily I got to that deep dark place, squeezed my butt, locked it out, and we're good. Then from there, I went into some strict pressing, and the biggest thing I want to show you guys is different angles here. I do that classic press, which is where you kind of, the bar will come down slightly to give you a little bit of a rebound, and then you'll press it straight up. Some competitions will allow this, others won't, but in strongman you can really do anything you want to get the bar overhead. So for me, this is the best press variation for me to use for my strict press. Typically I like to keep my elbows a little bit tighter to the body, kind of like stacked on my lats. My grip is going to be a little bit more narrow, and that's become more narrow over time. So it's something for you guys to play with or think about. It helps me utilize my triceps a lot because I have very strong triceps, and my press is probably my strongest attribute when it comes to strongman. So this is 225. And you guys can get that front angle. My hands are a little bit closer, kind of trying to keep my body nice and tight. And I'm keeping my chin tucked back as I press, and then sticking my head slightly through, which you see in a better side angle that my ears are in line with my bicep, and that's a cue that I give a lot of my athletes. So this is me pressing it up, as you guys can see. Now there's all different press variations. This is day 1. So I'll probably do a pin press at some point, and then something with a little bit more volume, whether it be a banded press or a Z press, something like that towards the end of the week. This is the side angle, which I was saying you can see my head pushing through, and my ears are in line with my biceps. And then from there we moved over to close grip bench. Now I am more of a close grip bencher as my main bench, just because I said I really like to strengthen my triceps. And I find that the triceps have a lot of carryover to any pressing events, and you're never going to bench in a strongman competition, or at least not to my knowledge. Maybe one random event, but for the most part there's no benching in strongman, so I try to use whatever bench variation I can to get as strong as possible that will carry over to my sport. So this is 275. I've been really trying to work on a really tight setup, which you guys will see me get into. Just making sure that my traps and shoulders are into the bench, utilizing my legs, keeping my whole foot on the floor. You can see that arch that I have right there currently. I think this is 295 or 305, I'm not sure. But I want to show you guys how I'm working on kind of that J angle where you bring the bar down and then you're pushing it back towards your face. Now I used to just press up and down very vertically, but I'm trying to get more of that curve involved that you'll see with most power lifters. So this is 315. Elbows are staying nice and tight, making sure that I'm not letting the bar roll back in my hand, keeping it straight over top of my palm, so it's a bone-on-bone structure from the wrist down to the elbow into the shoulder. And this is my top set at 325 for a set of 5. Trying to keep my elbows as tight as I can without really letting them flare too much, and keeping that tight position. I'll put a link up for you guys to check out above, but something you guys can do for me is answer in the comment section down below of how many days a week are you guys deadlifting, and where are your sticky points in your deadlift? Is it from the floor, or is it from the knee or the shin, or maybe your lockout? Interested to hear what you guys have to say, so put that down in the description if you can, so I can see where most of your areas are that you guys are getting stuck with, and I'll make a video on that. So as you guys know, I do a lot of conditioning. So for this conditioning session, I ran a time mile, which you guys will see the video for that in the future. And then we did sprints. Now, me being an idiot, I went right into the sprints full send without really warming up too much, and I strained my hip a little bit. So it was supposed to be a sled push down and back for 100 feet. I had to do a pull, so I could still get it in, but I just had to change it slightly because of the pain. Then from there, you go to 6 ball slams, as hard and as explosive as you can, and then right into 5 pull-ups. And you're going to run through that for 2 rounds as fast as possible, and then you rest until your heart rate completely comes back down. So that is a big thing that people get wrong with HIIT training or high intensity interval training, is they don't let their heart rate come all the way down before starting the next set, and whether that be sprints or whatever you're doing. So make sure that you are letting your heart rate completely come down and recover so that you can hit it hard again with the same intensity. But this is just a little bit of everything. It's just kind of like a GPP day in conditioning. I sped this up so I didn't bore you guys too much. But I did 2 rounds, and I was coming in around like a minute and a half ish for my time, and then I'd rest about 1 to 2 minutes, and I'd hit that again, and I did that for a bunch of rounds. So you can set a clock if you want, just see how many rounds you could get in for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever time you have, or just set a round time. But we're going to go back to the closing.
So hopefully you guys got some tips that are going to help you out with your deadlift, your bench, or your overhead press, and maybe you can try this conditioning and see how it works for you. I put out a lot of programs before, and I have actually a link down below for a free program that you can try, and I'm also going to be putting out another free block for you guys to just try in your program whenever you want. We do have the Facebook group called the Iron Lions on Facebook, which is actually about 1,000 people in there right now, primarily weightlifting, strongman, and powerlifters. We have a bunch of coaches in there constantly giving free feedback and helping you guys out. So if you guys want to head over to that Facebook page, it's really cool. I post a lot of articles, and it's just a free community for everybody to just learn from one another. So it'd be really cool if you could check that out. But like I said, guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell, and I will catch up with you guys next time. Stay lean, mean, track machine. Peace.